Doing a stream test. Which camera am I looking at? I don't hear anything. Allegedly, I am alive. Or live. No, audio's coming in, that's good. My head's so funny shaped. Okay. Good morning, it's August 10, Wednesday, and this is my 7 a.m. Get Unstuck stream. So what I'm doing this week, for the week of August 8, is spending 15 minutes, the very first 15 minutes of the day before I look at email or get distracted by anything, working on projects that are important to me, because otherwise I put them off and do other things or get distracted and so forth. So the theory is, the very first 15 minutes of the day are holy minutes, and they should be devoted to me doing stuff, especially, for projects that I've said are important, but for whatever reason or not haven't moved forward on. And, my thinking is if I can't put 15 minutes a day toward my own project, who am I kidding? It's probably either I don't have the guts or the grit to do it, or it's not meant to be. So those 15 minutes are designed to really test myself, and it's not a whole lot of time too, so I shouldn't feel that bad about it. Today I'm actually also trying something different. I'm streaming using a different hardware encoder. I'm using the Apple hardware encoder. I'm using Open Broadcasting's OBS Studio on the Mac here. Let me switch to the second screen. You can see this is the Mac that's running it. Webcam, and webcam over here, which you can't see. I'm in my office. I moved my office downstairs, so this is the downstairs setup. It's a little depressing. I mean, I still have a window out there, but I was used to working upstairs, which is more light and open. Maybe eventually I'll go back up there, but right now this allows me to work on the living room upstairs as a future co-working space for my friends and stuff. So let's see. I guess I'm trying to remember what to do today. I also wanted to switch things up a little bit. The last 2 days were actually pretty productive, in the sense that I was doing the 15-minute thing. So here's my chore notebook, which I've kept track of what's gotten done. On Monday, let's see. On Monday, what did I do? I cleaned the litter box. Got 4 hours of coding done. I did the 50 minutes priority project, which was doing... I don't even remember. That's why I write stuff down. Let's take a look at this. So here's my screen, and let me open up Quiver, and let me embiggen that. I'll do the actual 15 minutes around at 7:15. It's only 7 a.m. now. So this is where I keep track of all my projects. Since I'm streaming at 1920 by 1080 today, hopefully this will be more legible than yesterday, which was streaming at half the resolution. Blah. Oh, I made a new, put it here? No, oh yeah, I made a new shared notebook called 15-minute rituals. Oh, I was just looking at it before. So yeah, this is the revised text. If you look at the other videos, you can see how this got started. This started out as being a little bit more longer and more rambly. On the second day, as I was reviewing this, I streamlined it down a bit. But anyway, we can, make a new note here. No, it's sort by manual. And, no, I'm annoyed. That's better. So, what was I doing? These are process notes. Regarding this process. So on Tuesday, August 9, it was not a very productive day. They passed 11 a.m. I was up at 5 a.m. Did the 15 minutes, which felt productive because I got a nice. If I look back at these notes, I started to get a good capsule feeling for what it is that I wanted to do. But then after that, what did I do? Oh, I wrote up my Groundhog Day resolutions post, the monthly one, for August 8th. These are monthly. And really that was finishing. I had written it yesterday. But then after that, so that took like another hour, so I was like, what did I end up doing? Look at my notebook. I finished the... Now, after that, I fell asleep. Because I was right, I got only 4 hours of sleep. Oops. Got 4 hours of sleep that night. Then I thought I would just take a little nap. Up. Crashed at around 11. I must have goofed off and stuff. I was researching something. Random crap. But then when I woke up at 11, I was planning on doing some programming work. Finishing programming work from Monday. But then crashed again. To 6 p.m., ate something, started working, fell asleep again, woke up at, it was like 10:30 p.m. No wait, this was more, I crashed again to when I went shopping, grocery shopping. Need something, 10:30, and then, I was kind of figured like, I'll just go to sleep again. I did watch one episode of the Great British Baking Show. Baking Show. Which episode was it? It was the patisserie or pastries? It was the semifinals, or the quarterfinals, which was tense. Oh my god, it was so tense. And then I played Rainbow Six Siege with my friend Dom a bit, and crashed again. Woke up at around 5:30 a.m. So that was not a great day, because I'm not sure why I keep falling asleep. This might be a health issue. Or it could be that I'm not really feeling like doing any programming work, because I don't particularly enjoy, well, it's challenging, and maybe my brain is tricking me. So today, or for Wednesday, let me pose this as a question. How can I recover? How can I get through this next hurdle of difficult programming? One theory, and why is it happening? One theory I have is that the activation energy required for getting the programming is so high that I actually do need to do it first thing in the morning. And what do I mean by activation energy? I mean that for me, this type of programming, which is JavaScript, client-server programming. I'm implementing something called I'm implementing a system that will send messages that are basically service calls between different web apps that are running from the same server. But each web app thinks it's the only app running in the system. And so what it does is it emits a remote procedure call. No, it requests a service. If the service is defined in that web app itself, it doesn't doesn't hit the net. But if it does not exist, it assumes that it exists on a different web app running that's registered these messages, sends the data over there, receives data back, and then continues execution. The tricky part is knowing what remote web app will receive that, and also being able to handle the asynchronous nature of the request. Because the request is going over the network, the code actually has to wait for the response. And so that's relatively easy to solve. However, the more difficult part is to make this easy to use. Because writing code to handle waiting for asynchronous results, it really sucks. There's a JavaScript library called async, I believe, that does this. But what ends up happening is you end up running a lot of waiting and time management code. And I hate waiting in all forms, especially managing waiting, outside of programming too. So the challenge is to write a code module that takes care of that stuff for you behind the scenes. So myself and the other people on this project who are having to write this code in the first place to get actual stuff done for this educational project, they can just I just want the service, and after that do this, and create an expressive module that allows that type of requests and chaining requests together as well. So you don't have to worry about writing code that will wait for the network to respond and check sequence numbers and all this tedious stuff. I want to be able to write code at the highest level that says I want you to do this, then check this, then do this, and when it's all done, do this. Which in ordinary, I guess very low-level programming terms would be nested functions or something terrible like that. So anyway, it's difficult code for me to write because there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. At the same time, I'm trying to optimize the process and make it easy to understand and document it at the same time I'm coming up with it. When this is done, it should be pretty awesome. But there's part of me that the little voice in the back of my head is saying, "Oh, this is difficult. Oh, this is boring," or "This is it's saying stuff like this, and you're gonna have to rewrite it anyway. And you're gonna have to probably rewrite it 5 or 6 times before it really is clean." Cat just made a noise, and another noise. And I think that's what's putting me to sleep, because I really don't like dealing with. I don't like rewriting stuff. I mean, and it takes a lot of energy for me to hold all the moving parts of this system in my head at once. And there's some projects in which, when I'm doing this kind of thing, I forget how to speak English afterwards. I can't emit complete sentences. It's not a pleasant feeling, and so I think that's another thing that it's avoiding me. My brain doesn't naturally want to work like this, at least these days. I would much rather be outside or talking to people about stuff, but that's a whole other thing. So anyway, it gives me another 5 minutes to work on this. So this is the question of the day. My process notes. This is where I'm going to start the project. And so what I'm going to do is, because I am streaming this, I feel somewhat accountable for talking through what I'm doing, and I find that actually helps me focus. So right after I do the 15 minutes on this Nerd magazine project, I am going to I guess spend another 15 minutes getting launched on the next thing before I go into email or before I surf the net. Because even though surfing the net, reading email, and just working on my own research projects, even though that doesn't take as much energy as the programming, it does nevertheless take some energy. And I think I need all the energy I can get to jump into the programming code and get a good solid, if I've got 4 hours done today, that would be amazing. That's for this type of code. And I know it's not going to be straightforward because I'm going to be documenting and making up systems at the same time. But I can't think about that. If I worry about how long it's going to take or how difficult it's going to be, or all the little things that don't feel productive, that will just demotivate myself more. So I have to kind of put myself in a state of non-anticipation and non-expectation before I start that. But 7:12 right now. I might as well start on this. So let me switch back to my main screen here. And so let me set this timer. Beep. Oh, it's counting down. Crap. All right. So today's 15-minute thing, let me reread what I have here. I am saying creative independence. I had a realization that my motivation does seem to come primarily from shared interests with other people. Sometimes it's the sense of community. It's also a desire to be around other weird, ambitiously creative people like myself. Kind of putting myself on a pedestal there. Arranging for more interactions of a pleasant, social, geeky themed more interactions like, arranging for more pleasant, socially geeky themed events in my living room cafe will create creative interdependence, which is a variation of what I was doing before. Interdependence will promote, will bring more creative independence into my life, theoretically improving it. Okay, that's the mission statement. Let's even call it that. The first step is to pick a project that will help move this goal along, or move the mission along. Now, I'm writing mission statement stuff here. But the long-term goal is to spend the 15 minutes actually doing production work. But this is only day 3. I'm finding that even just thinking and refining about this goes a long way toward guiding what the actual work will be. So the first project will be, the Community Nerd Media Project, where we stylishly celebrate what nerdy awesomeness is going on in the Nashua area, or let's say in New Hampshire. There will be a web presence and print component. I will create a local group of interested contributors / collaborators. This will a bonus will, or as a bonus, the pursuit of this project will create design resources, or create resources that I can use for my own website. The emphasis of the Community Nerd Media will be let's see. The CNPP will emphasize sub-goals. Emphasis will be on... Alright, so that's really the community nerd. I love formatting stuff, I'm sorry. So, and here's the first step. First sub-project. Design the article reformat as plain semantic HTML. Okay, so let's break this off into its own thing, and let me go by standard. These are usually, this first entry up here is what I usually call continuity notes. And this is design preliminary article format. Oops. What I've just done here is I've created a new note, and I am going to link it here. Ugh. All right. Actually, I don't like the way it looks. I'm just linking in stuff here. Alright, so like on this side, I've just created a link to this article. So now we're 3 minutes in. Actually more than that, we're like rough 6 minutes in. So hopefully I'm done with this. But the article format, basic resource allocation. So there's topics, desire, motivation. Maybe I'll make this a table format. I think this supports tables. How does it work again? Trying to remember the markdown table format here, which I don't think I'm doing right. Oh wait, it's like this. Element. Yeah, there we go. Element, description. Format that to the left. Topic, desire, motivation. Oh, is it defaulting to vertical centered? Who still does that? Oh, well, I should be able to edit the CSS for this. I believe that's something that you can do in Quiver. Shortcut styles, edit presentation as CSS, text cell, markdown cell. Oh well, this is a distraction. This is a cool little program. Oh, this formatting just driving me crazy. Holding my tongue. Can't say anything nice. But this is a great program though, otherwise. I'll just sort of fix the way that this presents. So notes on tagging. Other tagging as... Oh, I'm also... Or let's see. Example. Use. That's really what that is. This is hard to read. No, that doesn't work. Never was a big fan of the Markdown extra table formatting. Yeah, this sucks. I'm gonna change this. Maybe I'll do this not as Markdown. Oh, we converted it. That's interesting. Exactly what I didn't want to do. And now it's all broken. Wonderful. That blows. They undo it all? Good. Alright. And the point of this is to make it clear. So I can scan it, not have to like parse this. So, related topics are implemented as tags, e.g. basic resource collection. So what I'm working on here is trying to define a typical article. You know, so it would probably look like topic, desire. This is implicit. This is like a statement. Motivation statement. This is kind of like Cook's Illustrated recipe format. So topic, title, a straightforward headline. Topics is more of a category. Let's see, I think we want to do related projects as tags. So reorganizing my information taxonomy, related projects. Short codes or project codes. Product codes as code memo, e.g. pizza, dash notes. They should all be lowercase too, I think. Pizza 2016. The code should be unique. I'm kind of thinking ahead here to how I'm going to implement this as a directory structure that's going to be scanned and assembled. So that might be getting a little bit ahead of myself. Additional slug elements ignored. Let's see. Now, the article here, is that the same as a project? This is a basic resource collection. Article type. Basic resource collection. There's another article type that's probably a project notebook, which is a different one. Different kind of project. And that would have the status. Type of inquiry. I think I'll add another section here, insights. Or expectation. Type of inquiry, production stage. This is more of a status thing. Status, results. I think I want to have a element type, results, which is like the summary. A summary of the results of a project. Ah, there goes the time. Body, text. Also, there's like supporting images. Description is in metadata of images. Supporting gallery of images. Body text sidebar. Principal side, or let's see. I just want to finish this up real quick. A side principal. What a side principal is. List of images. Above. List of images from a directory. Image directory. The side principal is a call out that describes something learned. Side insight. A call out that notes a particular gleaned. Okay. All right, so we're getting someplace now. So these are all types types of things I want to see in the article. And I think the next step will be what will the next step be? I'm kind of lost on my own thoughts right now, I'm sorry. The next step, tomorrow, you know what, I'm going to worry about that tomorrow. That's the whole point of doing 50 minutes at a time. So I added to the article format. Oh, the next step. Next step is to consider how it might look. Break it down into semantic HTML and just see what it looks like. And I think that's my 15 minutes for today. Working on my Nerd Magazine project. And it's surprising to me, I don't know how other people feel about this. It's surprising to me just, it feels like I'm making progress, and it's not a a whole lot of progress, and I'm stopping just as I'm getting going, but it still somehow feels good. I mean, I would have thought before that I needed great huge gobs of progress done and have stuff finished for it to feel good. But I think what's helping with this is that revisiting it every day, it's like going and seeing a plant that's growing. It's, it's not demanding on my time. The next thing will actually be working on the code project, which I will start right now. And so, unfortunately, I have this in my. This is my notebook that's for that. So the last time, it wasn't August 5th. I worked on this on Monday, but this is kind of where I was. And I actually need to go and look at my other notes. So I had to pull up my code project, because it's not letting me drag it over, because this is full screen. I had to move some stuff around. So here is my code window. Here's my desktop. On the desktop I need to run a console window. I also need a browser window. And the only reason I'm pulling it up here is so I can actually show what I'm working on. Ordinarily, I would have it on this monitor on the side here. What's wrong with this window? Is this not right? No, this is clipped. I had to fix that. So, let me readjust this. I wonder if I should just fix this here. I'll do that later. So anyway, it's completely off. So on this screen over here, this is where I usually have the actual output of the program running. It's a little bit dim looking here because this is a TN screen monitor, TN LCD. So like the angle changes the way how bright it is. And it's a recent one. I actually got this instead of an IPS screen because it has such a low response rate. This is a gaming monitor, so I can play Rainbow Six at high frame rates. But it looks fine to me. I mean, I may have to replace this monitor with something that's a little bit bigger and higher res to run off of this. Well, this monitor was super cheap, and it actually works pretty well. So, okay, but I'm stalling. One last thing I need to do is pull up a program called SourceTree, which is my GitHub interface, which is my source control system. And so now I've got this all set up. And I'm going to set the timer again. And spend 15 minutes just bootstrapping this and seeing if that helps focus me. Because it's getting started on this project that's the hard part. It's like, for me, starting projects seems to be the big challenge. I don't know why that is. Once I get going, I seem to be fine, but just the little resistance I have to things that seem tedious or annoying, or things that I'm supposed to do, things that I have to do. All right. Timer, 15 minutes. Focus! I'm already hating this. All right, key to focus is not to put all of your attention onto the thing you're supposed to do. For me, it's to dismiss all the distracting thoughts. So remember to breathe. Remind myself what I'm doing in general, but then I had to pick one very specific thing to fill my mind. That one specific thing right now will be just to run the program. So And then also I need to have this notebook, which I will write things down in to remind me what I was doing last. And the reason why I'm switching to the notebook at this point, instead of using, Quiver that's running here, is because every time I switch to Quiver, I lose track of my screen. And when I lose track of my screen, I'm not looking at the work. And if I'm not looking at the work, that's an invitation to distraction. For me, that is. So, okay, well, I'm writing down here 1, look at program. What does it do? What does it do? I don't remember. Even trying to remember is a pain. But at least I remember how to run it. CD play, CD build, gulp. So what this is doing, it's starting up the program. I have all my debug code, debug output there. And then it runs from localhost. And I'm running dev test. And actually I have two windows I want to run. How should I set this up? Let me set up another browser window. This one doesn't need to be so big. I don't really need to show this screen here, I think. I'll put it on the side. And let me just kind of rearrange this in a way so I can see stuff. That's interesting. Sure, why? And I'll run again localhost. So these are running off the same web server implemented in Node.js and dev test. And I added a module format so I can run any arbitrary module from the same test bed. It's not real testing, but oops, that's not what I wanted. So okay, so this app is on the left. When I press this button, it sends a transaction over. It says there's no local transaction for the test message, so it's forwarding it to the network. And actually, I overshowed this. Actually, I can't do this. Let me make some space for it. So it sees that it's getting a test message. It's forwarding from socket 03, which is this app, to socket 01, which is this. Socket 02 disappeared. What the hell? Looks like it caught it. Did I refresh the screen? Yeah, that's what I did. So, test is sent to here. Oh, that's where I was. So what's happening is network.js 137. Yeah, this is where there was a big mess. So there's a giant loop that's happening. How to describe this? Let me try drawing. Switch to a different mode of thinking. And I think primarily what I'm trying to, I guess what I'm doing is I'm kind of avoiding writing some code here. All right, so right now we're stuck in a loop. So what happens is, let's see, here's app 1, and here's app 2, and app 1 implements test, and then app 2 request test. Test is the message here. And then, okay, there's the server too. Server. Yeah, let's start again. App 1. Server. App 2, which has the test message in it. App 1, call test. This goes to the server, which forwards. This is sock 1. This is sock 2. You know what? Now I'm realizing that I should just put this on the screen because I can actually type that much cleaner. So let me pull up, let me pull up in here. So what I'll do is I'll make a, start app 1. App 1, send test, or request test. And then over here, which goes to server. Now I don't think I should do this in Illustrator, but we'll see if I can keep this going. Server, this forward, test to app 2. Forward test. App 2. App 2 will receive test payload. What would happen? Actually, I should put in the call here. It happens too. App 1 requests tests. This means it does a unisys call test data. Let's just leave it at that. And that goes to server, which forwards test. App 2 receives test. And that means this is handled by what? This is handled by Unisys. Unisys is my universal message system. And I think it's dispatcher. The network module. Network receive, Unisys, dispatcher, gets the packet, dispatcher, does its own Unisys call, test data. And this is where my loop is happening. What's happening with the Unisys test call data is it has to be able to determine this call needs to determine whether two things. Is the requested test local or remote? Is the call a forwarded call or an immediate call? So there's actually, so what's happening is there's 4 situations. Local immediate, local forward, then there's remote immediate. Is there a remote forward? Remote, what does that mean? Local is the originator, origin, and this is the network. loop. So for local, so if it's, okay, I need to work out what this is then. If it's local immediate, that means it can just return case local call immediate means it's local. Local execution. If it's a local call remote exec, that's a better way of explaining it. It's a remote call. There's no such thing as a remote call. No, wait, remote call local exec. That means we implement it here. Implemented somewhere else. We're going to implement it here. If it's a remote call, remote exec, I don't think that happens. If it's a remote call, that means like app 1's calling app 2, test. But in no case would it ever get forwarded here. This never happens. However, in all cases of remote calls, oh, actually no. There's a third thing. Response needed. That's why this is getting complicated. Okay, so case local call. We implement here. How am I going to put this? So the response need is if we are doing a transaction. Local call, local exec. That with a transaction or without a transaction. And a transaction in this case is some sort of callback. Callback. This means remote exec callback. It's easy. Remote exec local. If it's a local call, wait a moment. What is local? All right. These are the cases for unisys call. And so it's called locally. "23 seconds. If it's called locally, and it's local execution, callback. So this expands. Callback, no callback. All right. So at least I seem to be working on this project now. I mean, it took like 3 jumps. So when I started, like, it took me like bouncing between 3 or 4 bits of documentation systems before I found something that allowed me to think and work through this issue. And also just running the program allowed me to just kind of remember where it was broken. And this was like from a couple days ago too. So that actually went fairly well. It took 15 minutes to sync back up. Whereas before, Well, also, I think one thing helping was that I am streaming this, so I don't want to embarrass myself too much. So that sense, that little bit of accountability was maybe helpful. But all right, I'm gonna continue working on this and see how far I get. And okay, thanks for watching. Hope your own projects are going well. If you have any questions, just hit me up on my website, or I don't know. I haven't figured out the streaming thing yet and how to talk to people. There's also the Discord, which is at davidsay.com/live. No, that brings you here. davidsay.com/Discord will take you to the Discord channel, which is where I should have been monitoring. This. And I post the live stream information there. Okay, well, that does it for now. It's 7:52, almost an hour of streaming, but that will be it for today until tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a good day.